Ay, ay, ay. I'm assuming that's Rachel. I apologize. I just went to go change the title of the stream just so no one was confused, and I think it just completely ended it. So hopefully now we can be good. Hello, hello, hello. Can anyone hear me? I apologize. If you can, let me know. Hello. All right. Thank God. I apologize. Jeez. I don't know what happened there, but like I got a message from YouTube saying like I violated the terms of agreement or something like that, and they shut down my stream, and I was like, what the heck is going on? And then I just ended the stream and just started a new one, and I guess it's fine now, but I have no clue what happened. I think I accidentally clicked like a button and it went off of my stream on accident and messed everything up. But all right, you guys can hear me, so we should be good. Sorry about the late start. Um, so my plan is to start, get out your FRQ Part A, and we can talk about your answers. Just give me a something in the chat so I know you guys are good to go. When you're ready for me to go over it, I guess. Ready? Can you please go over how to do number 2, part D, so I know I did it right when you go over the answers? Yeah, no problem, Rachel. All right, let me talk about it. So number part okay, all right. So let me get over. Oh, of course, log me out of it. Okay, so I'm just pulling up the assignment now. Of course, it logged me out of it. So give me 1 second. you should have gotten for Part A, so number 1. Number 1A, you should have gotten negative 10 gallons per hour per hour. Again, number 1A is negative 10 gallons per hour squared, or per hour per hour. Number 1B should have been 15 gallons. Letter B, 15 gallons. Letter C should have been negative 9. Again, letter C, negative 9. And D actually could have had a couple different answers. The main thing you wanted to see, though, was that in this case, I think it was right endpoints, actually. So let me pull up the assignment real quick. Maybe that'll actually change what the answer is. Give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, so letter D, you should have gotten the integral from 1/2 to 3/2 of big RT dt. Again, that's the integral from 1/2 to 3/2 of big RT dt. So that was for number 1. 2A, you should have gotten 6. Oh, sorry, I just saw your messages, guys. Hunter, just in time, exactly. Liberty, can you walk through Part D of question 1? Yeah, we can talk about Part D. It's kind of weird, but we'll talk about it. I'm not super worried about it, but we'll take a look. So 2A, again, is 6. 2A is 6. 2B was the minimum at x equals 0 and a maximum at x equals 3. Again, a minimum at x equals 0, a maximum at x equals 3. For C, you should have gotten 1/3 x cubed minus x plus c. Again, 1/3 x cubed minus x plus c. And then once my computer stops freezing, we'll look at letter D. Okay, and letter D, you should have gotten negative 5/2. Okay, so I'll go over 2D, like Rachel said, and then actually let's take a look at 1D as well. Let me start with 2D because my computer's going to be all slow. So I'm going to take a look at your 2D. So it says find the value of the integral 2 to 3 of x, f prime, g of x, dx. All right, so this setup right here, let me make sure you're on the screen. Yeah. So this setup right here is the typical setup, and whenever something's formatted like this, you always want to think u substitution. So we have a function at x being multiplied to a derivative of a composite function. The composite function being f of g of x. So that's the perfect setup for u substitution. So we always let u equal to the inner function. So in this case, you let u equal to gx, which is equal to x squared minus 1. All right, that was given to us, which means du is equal to 2x dx. But I'm looking for 1x, so I get 1/2 du equals, x dx. Okay, so that's my u substitution. Now, big thing I want to do is, because the original value, like the original problem they gave us, was everything was in terms of x, including the bounds. So what I want to do is figure out, well, what are the bounds in terms of u? So at x equals 2 and at x equals 3, what is my u values? And pretty simply, all I do is plug in x equals 2 here. So I get 2 squared is 4, 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 squared is 9, 9 minus 1 is 8. So I have this new integral from 3 to 8 of 1/2 f prime of u du. So now everything's in terms of u. My bounds are in terms of u. The inner function inside the integrals in terms of u. We're in pretty good shape. From here, not necessary, but I always like to take out the constant, or the coefficient I should say, out there. So I'll just take the 1/2 out, so I'm just left with a little bit easier of an integral. And so what we want to do to find this is use fundamental theorem of calculus part 2. So I want to take 1/2, I'm going to multiply it by big F of 8 minus big F of 3. Now this part here, we found this in part B. So if you guys remember back in part B, we actually found what the integral was of each of these points. The integral at 8 and the integral at 3. So if you guys got part B right, you can get this part right. So we know that f of 8, or big F of 8, is just the antiderivative, or the integral evaluated at 8. So we found that to be 12. And then f of 3, if you guys look back, we found to be 17. So I get 1/2 times 12 minus 17, which equals -5/2. All right, and that was how you get there for that problem. So let me know if you guys have any questions about that. All good, thank you. Yeah, no problem, Rachel. Okay, so let's look at 1D. Okay, so 1D. 1D was kind of weird. All right, so it gives you the sum. So it gives you the Riemann sum of R of 1/2 plus k over n times 1n. And that's the right Riemann sum with n subintervals of equal length. Okay, so the limit of the sum as n goes to infinity can be interpreted as a definite integral. Express the limit as a definite integral. So the limit of the sum as n goes to infinity can be interpreted as a definite integral. Let's first just break apart this Riemann sum. So if you guys remember, we talked about Riemann sums, this summation notation is just a way to represent basically length times height, or width times height, however you want to express it. All right, and our width is going to be that 1 over n. So we can just call that my change in t is going to be equal to 1 over n. Okay, now the big thing here is that 1 at the top. That 1 at the top represents the length of the interval. All right, so that's the length of our interval. Because if you guys remember, like if we broke this up, if our width was 1/8, okay, then we would have our intervals would each be, or widths would just each be 1/8. But we're going to n, so we should have an n amount of intervals. So regardless of whatever n is, it's always going to have a length of the interval 1. So if it's 1/8, we're going to have 8 Riemann, I guess, rectangles. You can kind of look at it. That means that it would be 8 over 8, so which is 1. So depending on n, it's all going to change, but this numerator always is going to give us the length of the interval because it doesn't tell us how many subintervals there are. So that's an important point to make. Now, basically what happens here, and this is where it gets a little bit kind of weird, I guess, is we just want to pick, first of all, we want to pick a point with a difference of 1. So we basically want to make our own interval. And this is where I was kind of saying it can kind of vary on your answer. The easiest interval I found within, so first of all, you guys look at the table, right? It gave us 0 to 2. So an interval of length of 1 in between that is 1/2 and 3/2. So 2 points with a length of 1 is 1/2 and 3/2. Have a length of 1. So I'm making a specific integral, a definite integral, right? Now there was another answer you guys could have done. I'm not going to go over that one because I think it's a little bit more complicated. So you can do a generic definite integral. We're using variables. So maybe some of you guys did that, and you guys wouldn't have been wrong. So that was also a potential possibility. I'm just deciding to pick an actual definite integral. So I chose 2 points at length of 1. Now, basically what we have, though, is they mention that the limit as n approaches infinity, so this is given to you in the actual instructions, of that Riemann sum. So k equals 1 of r of 1/2 plus kn times 1 over n. Okay, so they say that the limit of the sum, so the limit of this sum is what we wrote there, as n goes to infinity, can be interpreted as a definite integral. So we have to figure out how do we express this. Well, the Riemann sum is just going to sum up an area under a curve of your function. That's all the Riemann sum does. So the limit as n goes to infinity just makes a very specific value. So it's just making a more accurate answer. Rather than saying, hey, we're going to do 3 rectangles, give me an answer, taking the limit as n goes to infinity is a way to get an exact answer. So a precise answer for the area under the curve. Well, we know the way to express area under the curve is our definite integral with the length of 1 from 1/2 to 3/2 of our function. All right, and that's all it's saying. So that's just another way to say the area under a curve with the length of 1 in our interval. Okay, so that would be your final answer for that. I don't think, let me check to see. Yeah, okay, I think that's it. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. I know that one's a little bit strange. Okay, so guys, I posted the FRQ for today. Just one question, so you guys can go ahead and get started on that. I don't think it's going to take you like a whole lot of time. Not too bad. So luckily, even though my delay in my stream was pretty bad, I think you guys should be good. So if you guys want to get started on that, feel free. I'll be here if you have any questions. And this will end our Unit 6. Do we have to do integration by parts for Part D? Let's see. Yep, you got it, Liberty. What do you mean, Rachel? I thought you loved integration by parts. I thought that was our favorite part of this year. It's like my poster when you do integration by parts and you have to do it again. Better than partial fraction decombs. I don't know about that. I might disagree with that. Partial fractions can get really annoying though, but integration by parts sometimes can be annoying, especially if you pick the wrong u's and v's, because then you have to start all over. They can both get difficult. Way better. All right, Liberty. I see you're not a fan of partial fractions. Man, guys, this is what's really brutal is this whole situation right now. This quarantining and all. I'm going nuts, losing my mind a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but it's only week 2. This is tough. Miss being in school, miss seeing people. I miss going outside and not having to worry about anything. Painful. How do I start part C? Is this one of those where I'm just supposed to know what the graph looks like? All right. Find the value of one. Oh, part C? So to start part C, this is a, hold on. Do you have to do one of those weird infinity limits for parts? Yeah, exactly. So if you guys notice that this is a different kind of integral, right? It's 1 to infinity. So if you guys remember, what we have to do is we have to replace infinity with a variable and solve that integral. So we take the limit as t approaches infinity of the integral 1 to t of f of x. And then you work from there. So let me know if that makes sense. If not, I can show you on paper what I mean. So if you guys remember, we call these improper integrals. So when you have negative 4 divided by t and t is approaching infinity, that just becomes 0, right? And then you just have the plus 4, so the answer is 4. You got it. Well done. I gotta be honest with you guys, I kind of miss High-Low Buffalo a little bit. Who would have thought? Those were good times. I miss those days. Told you it rocked. I guess we could still do it, but it'd have to be Thursdays because we're not doing anything Friday. But also, we don't have the whole crew. We never have the whole crew in here. It's always just well, it's either 2 or 3. It usually is. Plus, it just doesn't have the same effect over chat. I'm the only one who can talk, and I'm not that interesting to listen to. So. Cole has attended not like one stream, Hunter. He's attended exactly one stream. And I'm pretty sure it was I think he was the first one in, and I don't think anyone else was in yet. And so I don't know. I don't remember I think only one other person even came in the chat. But I remember talking to Cole, and I was like, "Oh, fancy seeing you here." Looks like I might have some AB kids coming in. Already trying to swoop in here. We'll have to just force Cole to show up. Yeah, guys, we might have to. I might send him an email. So no one fill him in, but maybe I should send or maybe I should do it to Google Drive or Google Classroom and just be like, hey, BC, mandatory class session lecture on Thursday. And then Cole's gonna be like, whoa, no way. Google Hangout. Well, actually, Zoom could do it, Liberty. A lot of people are using Zoom, is what I hear. I just don't know like the rules behind that or whatnot. I'd have to figure it out, but yeah, I might have to just be like, yeah, guys, BC, we have a breaking news. Tune in at 9 o'clock on Thursday to find out, and then Cole will be intrigued. He'll be like, all right, I guess I can show up, and then we can just surprise him. Be like, hey, this is your intervention. We're worried about you. We're worried about your Calc BC performance. You guys pick up any hobbies? I'm gonna put. I feel like this is weird, just like you guys looking at a notebook. So, hey, you guys pick up any like hobbies over the last week, out of pure boredom? Anything? Any new ideas? Any new revelations you've come up with? Maybe reading a book. Are these not all mandatory? Correct, Liberty. It's one of those things just because there's four of you guys, and I'm like, I don't want to. This is a weird situation, so I'm not trying to put a bunch of stress on you. I trust you guys. You're responsible enough. Some of these, if you're not going to do, there's nothing I can do to stop you. But obviously, I'm not doing this for no reason. I'm just doing this to help you guys. That's why I give them the assignments and helping out. So at the end of the day, the answer is no. They're not all mandatory, but I appreciate those of you who are working on it. I guess to answer your question. On a note, LL, yeah. This stinks. I've been thinking about stuff I could do. I haven't really come up with anything besides video games and TV and working out. That's about it. Maybe I'll make myself like some food, like some interesting creation. But that would involve me going to the grocery store, which kind of defeats the purpose, but I gotta go anyways, so maybe it doesn't matter. I started making a full itinerary for debate nationals and had completed 2 books. Wow, that's a successful week. A full itinerary for debate nationals. So, Liberty, let me ask you, how confident are you debate nationals is still going to happen? Do you think it's for sure going to happen, or do you think there's a chance that it might get canceled? I've been doing a lot of baking, also working out. They balance each other out. Yeah, that's actually a really good point, Rachel. That's funny you say that because I've noticed that like I haven't been eating like a lot more. I've been eating like about the same I always eat, but I've just been eating less healthy food because I haven't been to the grocery store to buy healthy food. It seems like healthy food goes bad quicker. So like I haven't been getting healthier food. So I've been eating just about the same, but just not good food. And so I think it motivates me to work out even more. Because you're right, like you kind of feel like, especially because you're not walking around school all day or like doing a sport or whatever. You're just like in your house. So I also bought roller skates, so I'm about to be a derby girl. That's awesome. The coronavirus can't catch you on skates, let me tell you. Too quick for that. Rachel, what kind of shows you watching? I watched, you guys might like this. I watched Love is Blind, which isn't me at all. Like, that's not something I would watch. But I had friends who were like, hey, you gotta watch it. And so I decided, I was like, oh gosh, I was so bored. I was like, okay, fine. Usually I'm like, those type of shows, not for them. And I started watching it, and I was like, this is some interesting television. It really kept you on the edge of your seat for sure. So that was one of the shows I watched. But yeah, I would like anything you guys can offer. Not sure about that one yet. All I have left is hope, so I'm clinging to it. Yeah, I got you, Liberty. I feel that. I feel like a lot of people have like a lot of things, whether it's like a sports, debate, the play, like all these other things that people are worried about that they're hoping doesn't get canceled. It stinks. I started It's Always Sunny and also Westworld, but I got a lot to catch up on too. Rachel, Always Sunny is probably my favorite show of all time. You won't be disappointed. Oh man, that's a perfect show though with Always Sunny, is because you can turn it on. I've watched Always Sunny probably like 4 different times, to be honest. But you can turn it on and then just like do something while it's on. Like I'll be like doing work or whatever, or just figuring stuff out, and I'll have it on the background, which always works out. And it's like one of those shows where like you just look up and something funny's happening, so it works out. Parks and Rec, yeah, Parks and Rec and Always Sunny are pretty similar. Always Sunny is like more of Always Sunny is more of like a how do I put this? Like a more of an extreme version of Parks and Rec, I guess. Like Always Sunny takes everything to like the absolute max. Parks and Rec is just like genuinely just like good-hearted, funny show. Leslie, nope. Yeah, raunchy. That's the better word. Definitely more raunchy. Yeah, more appropriate, I guess, would be the better word. Doomsday Preppers, but I think it's too real right now. It's a fantastic point. Doomsday Preppers is actually, it's funny you say that, because I was watching, well, I wasn't watching anything. I was just looking at stuff to watch. So actually, here's my recommendation to you guys. This is what I started watching. I started watching Hell's Kitchen with Gordon Ramsay, like the competition show where they compete. I just started watching that yesterday, and now I'm kind of addicted. I watched like 5 episodes. But it's like I was just like trying to watch something that will keep me entertained for a period of time. But anyways, when I was looking for it, and I found that I saw Doomsday Preppers, and I was like, that's almost a little too real. Like Netflix came out with like a new show called, or I don't even know if it was a show. It might have been like a documentary called like Epidemic. And obviously, I didn't watch it or even see like the preview, but I'm assuming it has something to do with coronavirus. But I don't know how people could make it that quick, so I don't know what it's about. But I was like, of course they came out with that now. That makes sense. But like you said, Liberty, I was like thinking to myself, yeah, this is a little too soon for this. Well, BC people, BC squad, you guys are good to go. I will be here from 1 to 2 if you have any questions. Obviously, tomorrow we can go over any questions as well. So there's a couple Khan Academies I signed you guys if you're still here from BC. Those Khan Academies, I signed everything for the week. Yeah, you guys have great days too, but I signed everything from the week, so you can do them all now. So I figured I'd just assign them, and you guys can do them when you get to them. So have a great rest of your days. And hello, Calculus AB. How the heck are you guys? Let me hear it. Let me hear in the chat. Good morning, Haber. That should say chat. So after BC, good morning, sir. I like that greeting, Jonah. Good morning to you. After my BC discussion, guys, now I'm curious. What kind of shows are we watching now that we are now that this is epidemic has occurred? We were having a good conversation last period about some stuff that we can do while we're bored. You know, this is our social emotional learning, everyone. I want to make sure we're all in good headspaces. We're doing all right. Because I'm going a little crazy. A little bit crazy, so. Let me see. The Good Place. Oh, okay. I saw that. I didn't watch it, but I did see that pop up. That was one of like the highly recommended shows. Looks pretty good. Criminal Minds. Yeah, it's always a classic. All those criminal shows are classics. Dance Moms. Can't say I've ever seen that one, Stacklin. Binging movies. What kind of movies, Haber? I'm curious. Prodigal Son. I don't know if I know that one, Katie. Prodigal Son. Maybe that's a Amazon one? Not sure. 911. I don't know if I've heard of that one either. I'm assuming that's a movie then, Haber. There's a lot of new movies. I gotta be honest, I like movies, but I haven't been watching very many. I've watched a lot of TV shows and series, but I haven't watched very many movies. Just about any movie that sounds interesting. Yeah. I watched, what did I watch the other day? I watched like a basketball documentary of like a basketball in jail, which is pretty interesting. So if any of you are interested in basketball, it was pretty good. It was on Netflix, but it went through. It was like in the it was in like a California jail, and they went inside the jail and like videotaped this basketball team within the jail. Pretty good. Emergency response. Oh, okay, yeah, I've seen that, Haver. That looks pretty good. Atypical, Jaden. I think I've heard of that. That's with like a famous person, right? Can't remember. I think it's a girl. I can't remember her name. It is on Fox. Prodigal Son. Morning, Baron. I'm gonna have to look that one up, Katie. I've probably heard of it. I'm just blanking. Crime show? Okay, cool. There's so many crime shows if you think about it. It's insane. Think about how many crime shows there are. Criminal Minds, NCIS, Bones, Prodigal Son. There are a ton. Oh, funny movie. I think it's on Netflix. The Other Guys, if you guys are bored. Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell, classic. All right, I'm going to give it about a minute, see if anyone else wants to pop in. Oh, while you guys are waiting, smash that like. Go ahead and get those numbers up a little bit. BC always forgets, so that really hurts my feelings a little bit, so I get to AB. My confidence is down. I'm really just not feeling great, so when you guys give me those likes, it really boosts my mood, so I appreciate it. Stacklin, maybe like it instead of disliking it. Just an idea, but, can't force you to do that. Jasmine, I watched that too. Classic. 'Too late. Darn. Thank you, Jaden. Likes only. Why would you... I'm just an up-and-coming YouTuber, and you're gonna bring me down with dislikes? Come on. Just trying to navigate the YouTube space, and I'm gonna get disliked? Man. That's tough. That's really just not very kind. Alright, guys. Let's get started. Hopefully we're all doing good. I appreciate all the input in the chat. Always entertaining. I hope you guys are staying sane. Really 3 people dislike this? Unbelievable. Oh. You guys want to keep disliking, I'll just assign progress checks the rest of the year. I don't think I won't. If I don't feel like I'm being a service, if people are just disliking the stream, maybe I should just give you guys more assignments. And I won't talk. Maybe that'll be the better option. If that's what you want, Stacklin, I guess that's what we can do. Your call. Anyways, though, I can move past this. I'll get past it. So guys, if you remember differential equations, that's what we're working on. I don't think you really need your book today. What I want to do is talk about maybe some real-world problems that might involve that do involve differential equations. Now, you guys left off yesterday with population. So we're talking about population word problems. Now, let me do a little reminder. Differential equations. Okay, so nothing new. We've seen differential equations. Differential equations are an equation that contains an unknown function and some of its derivatives. All right, so we've seen that before. It could have second derivatives, third derivatives. We usually stick to like the most two. And generally, honestly, in this course, probably only one. We'll probably only work with the first derivative and how we can manipulate that to get the original function. So again, if we start with a derivative, we're used to starting with a function and getting to a derivative. If we start with a derivative and we want to get back to the original function, we should be thinking integrals. So an integral reverses that derivative process. All right, and we're going to get into that and how we can actually solve problems. But what we started talking about yesterday was word problems. We discussed word problems and we said, all right, how can we get a word problem and create a differential equation? All right, and there's going to be a bunch of different kinds of word problems. Now, here's the main focus with the word problems with differential equations. Generally, or a lot of times, we have situations where we have something in and something out. Okay, so some examples: population, birth rate, death rate, predation, migration, that kind of stuff. Okay, that impacts the population. So it impacts how much is being added to the population, how much is being taken away from the population, and those often occur at rates. So we can get a general example like, okay, a birth rate. So you guys have heard that before, the birth rate. So I can say like the birth rate of squirrels is 2 squirrels per 3 weeks. I don't know, right? So that's giving you a rate. Well, whenever we have a rate, that's a derivative, right? So if we have originally 400 squirrels and the birth rate's 2 squirrels per week or whatever, then that's a rate. So we have an equation that's going to have to do with the rate. It's going to have to do with just an original function or just an original value. All right, so again, exiting, entering, a big part of differential equations. Another example might be like a mixing problem. So I don't know how many of you guys have seen those before, but it's like an example if you have like a mixture of salt and water. Okay, so you have like something where salt is going in, and then there's a solution getting turned out, and then there's salt going out, or there's a solution going out. So you have some sort of combination of chemicals getting put together and combined at certain rates. Or that's another rate in, rate out kind of deal. So like if you have a solution, you're pouring in salt at a rate of, 3 pounds per minute. I don't know. And then by the time the salt or the solution goes through machine, it gets rid of 6 pounds of salt per minute, whatever. Okay, so however that question might be formulated, it's another example of in and out. So there's rates and there's original values going in and going out. So my original plan was to kind of go through like very specific word problems. Now I've kind of been thinking about it a little bit. So the book, I don't know, it's a little bit tricky. And I've talked to you guys about this all year anyways, is like the book, Khan Academy, and College Board are all completely different like types of learning, I guess. Khan Academy is always the easiest. It's always like the most basic. College Board is usually the hardest. So the AP stuff is usually the hardest of all of them. And then the book is usually the one that doesn't always relate to both of them. That kind of does its own thing a little bit, right? Because the book isn't designed for AP kids. It's designed for college students and scholars studying calculus. So they have all these issues. My original plan was to kind of stick with the book and do some of those problems. I'm not going to, just because of the situation we have right now. It's going to take too long. And not too long because the problem's too long. It's because I have to write the entire problem out. And that's going to take a while. I probably should have done this ahead of time, but honestly, I forgot. So, also, I don't want us to get started like really difficult right off the bat. I want to kind of ease us into this. And this topic is just one little topic in the entire unit. So I don't want to spend like a crazy amount of time on it and freak anyone out. So we're going to reroute a little bit, all right, with this whole word problems. And what I'm going to actually do, because I'm just a kind teacher, is we're going to go over Khan Academy. So what I want you guys to do is get out that Khan Academy assignment. And this was the Khan Academy that says, hold on. verify solutions to, write differential equations. That's the one I want you guys to get out. So let me just throw this up real quick, and then I should be able to switch my screen so you guys can see what I'm seeing. So this was the assignment you're working on. Just wanted to double check I'm good. All right, so get that up. I'll give you a minute. Get that up and open. Get your assignment open. Now, I understand that I'm not going to do your problem necessarily because they're all different. That's okay. Just try to get your notes out, try to focus, maybe take some notes, get some general ideas of the ones I go through, and then maybe that'll answer some of your questions. Okay, so get that out. And then maybe in the chat, give me some feedback when you guys are good, when everyone's ready to go. Your notes are out, Khan Academy's open, all that good stuff. Good, says Jasmine. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. All right, so, Evan, good to see you. Hope everything's okay. Hope you're doing all right. So writing differential equations. So let's just start with this problem. All right. So it says the learning rate for new skills is proportional to the difference between the maximum potential for learning, that is skill M, and the amount of skill already learned, L. I mentioned this yesterday. So in the video yesterday, the stream you guys were at yesterday, I mentioned this idea of proportionality. Okay, whenever we have proportionality, and let me actually put this, you guys can put this in your notes. So let me change my camera here. Today is 3/24/20. I gotta make sure I know how to spell this. All right. Constant of proportionality. We call K a constant of proportionality. So whenever you guys see a problem like this, a problem anytime dealing with differential equations, your hint or your giveaway is going to often be the wording. So proportional is a big word, a big giveaway. And then you'll see this constant of proportionality. Okay, so here's what a constant of proportionality is. If you guys look back at the problem, it says the learning rate for new skills is proportional to the difference between the maximum potential for learning, that skill M, and the amount of skill already learned. So big thing here is the fact that it is proportional to the difference between that, but we aren't given what that proportion is. So whenever you guys see that you have a proportion, but you're not given what it is, so they don't say it's 2 to 3. They don't say it's 1 to 3, 8 to 6. Okay, whatever the proportion may be, it's not given to you. So K represents whatever the proportion is. All right, so if I go back here, K represents proportion that is not given to us. Okay, and we know a proportion is just a constant. So think of K as a constant. All right, it's a constant that represents the proportion that's unknown to us. It can be anything. We don't know what it is, but we just know it's there. All right, whenever you have a proportion, like if I have, if I have marbles, I have blue and red marbles, the proportion of blue to red is 1 to 3. So if I had any sort of equation, I would have to multiply 1/3 times whatever the equation would be. All right, because that's the proportion. So it's every 1/3 of the marble should be blue. essentially, was what that would be saying. All right, so you guys will see this all the time in these types of problems, so keep that in mind. All right, so let's go back to this problem. So we have the learning rate for new skills proportional to the difference between the maximum potential for learning that skill and the amount of skill I learn. I wish I could do, well, actually, maybe I can. This actually might work. All right, well, we'll see. It's going to be really not written well. But we have a couple big words. Let me see if this works. Nah, this isn't going to work. It's not horrible. I'm having too much fun with this. This is really hard. Alright, guys. That's difference. That's the word difference. Alright, so that's not going to work. But difference is a big word. So that's number one. Whenever we see the word difference, we have to be thinking subtraction. Alright, so right off the bat, I know it's going to be some sort of subtraction problem. Learning rate for new skills proportional to difference. Okay, the difference between the maximum potential, which is M, and the amount of skill already learned, L. So I know it's got to be M minus L. Well, if you look at all of our options, they're all M minus L. So that kind of stinks a little bit. But that's okay, because we can still look at something else. Okay, the big difference between A and B and C and D are the fractions. So these two have fractions, these two don't. Well, looking back at the actual question, our proportion is going to account for if we have a fraction, if the proportion is fractional, and that'll account for that. But it says nothing about the inverse. Okay, an inverse will tell you that it needs to be a fraction, such as this, such as k over m minus l. That would be an example of an inversely proportional. It doesn't say anything about being inversely proportional. It's just normally proportional. So normal proportion, all it is then just being multiplying. So we know it's going to be A and B. Okay, so the question then becomes between A and B, is it d capital L over t, dt, or lt? Okay, and that becomes the question. Now, look at the actual question at the beginning. It says the learning rate for new skills. Learning rate for new skills. Okay, we see the word rate, we should be thinking dl dt. All right, so your final answer, well, I guess I can just reveal. dl dt equals k times m minus l, so A. All right, any questions on that? Big difference really is the rate of proportionality. Everything else is kind of self-explanatory. So I'll just wait. If you guys have questions in the chat, let me know. Okay, I think we are good. I don't think my computer's on that much of a delay. So that means I'm assuming we're okay with that. Let's try another one. All right, let's look at this one here. So I want you guys to try it first. So this is the question. I want you guys to try it. So take a look at that. You find your answer, and then in a couple minutes I'll go over it. So radioactive material decays at a rate of change proportional to the current amount Q of the radioactive material. Radioactive material decays at a rate of change proportional to the current amount Q of the radioactive material. Okay, so hopefully you had enough time to look at this. So let's take a look at the answers first. Okay, so radioactive material decays at a rate of change. Really important, that statement there, decays at a rate of change. We know when we see a rate of change, we got to be thinking derivatives. All right, so A and B, right off the bat, we can get rid of those. A and B can be crossed out, which means it's between C and D. Okay, so we're looking for a radioactive material decaying. That decay is represented by negative, or the minus. Okay, so you see all of them have a minus in common, so it's not a huge deal, but the decay just means that it's being subtracted, right? It's a negative going down. Now, that material decays at a rate of change proportional. Okay, it means we need a constant. We need K. So they both include K, but the difference is where K is included at. So the radioactive material decays at a rate of change proportional to the current amount Q of the radioactive material. It says nothing about Q being raised to some exponential. So like D, it says nothing about negative Q being raised to the constant of proportionality times T. It just says that that constant is proportional to the current amount Q of the radioactive material. So all it's just saying is that this is a proportion here. That rate of change equals some proportion negative, let's say negative 1/3 times Q, the amount of material. All right, that's all this is saying. So C would be your final answer. So dq dt equals negative kq. Again, decay was a big part. Rate of change was big. The fact that it's proportional to the current amount, Q. All right. Let's try another one. All right, so an IV administers medication to a patient's bloodstream at a rate of 3 cubic centimeters per hour. At the same time, the patient's organs remove the medication from the patient's bloodstream at a rate proportional to the current volume V of medication in the bloodstream. All right, so I want you guys to take a look at this, try to solve this one. Let me make sure you guys can see. All right. So which equation describes this relationship? Take a minute. And go ahead, guys, comment in the chat when you think you are good to go. When you feel like you're ready. Good, good, good. Okay. About 30 more seconds. Okay, so let's look at this. This is an IV administers medication to patient's bloodstream at a rate of 3 cubic centimeters per hour. At the same time, the patient's organs remove the medication from the patient's bloodstream at a rate proportional to the current volume V of medication in the bloodstream. So choose one answer. First of all, they give us the rate of change of medication in the bloodstream. That's what all of dV dt is, the rate of change of V with respect to time. So that's what all of these have that in common, so we don't have to really worry about picking that side of the equation, which is nice. We can actually get our answer very quickly because if you notice, there's a big difference. All of these have a very big difference. Really, in total, they're all completely different. We know that an IV is administering medication, meaning it is inducing, or it's giving medication at a rate of 3 cubic centimeters per hour. So that's what's going in. We think of population like I talked about yesterday, population going in. This is the IV being administered, going into the bloodstream. Okay, and then everything in this second paragraph is everything coming out of the bloodstream. So the organs are removing everything. Well, we know to find the total medication in the bloodstream, you want to take what's going in minus what's going out. So if we know that 3 is going in, well, the only one that has that as a statement is C. It doesn't say anything about 3 cubic centimeters per hour is proportional to the constant of, whatever. It doesn't say anything about proportionality for what's going in to the bloodstream. It connects, if you guys notice, another kind of hint for you is it says the patient's organs remove the medication from the bloodstream at a rate proportional to V. So like a rate proportional to the current volume V, that statement means that K and V need to be together. Okay, which means A and C are the only ones that have K and V together. So you kind of use all this information, put it together, and you get your answer as C. 3 minus KV. Okay. All right, I'll get one. Maybe you guys have a specific one you want to go through. So in the chat, if you have a specific one, just maybe just talk about what it is. Like just give a quick rundown, or you maybe copy and paste the question into the chat, and I'll see if I can find it. Okay. Again, do we have anything you guys want to go over? Any specific questions? maybe you'd like more time just to work on the Khan Academy and then maybe figure out if you have any questions. What would you guys like to do? Let me get some feedback. Peyton said, I'm good. Thank you, Peyton. Appreciate the feedback. Peyton says, practice problems. Andrew agrees. Brandon agrees. Alexis agrees. All right. That works for me. Okay. So let's look at a practice problem then. Okay. So guys, bear with me. Copy this down as I go. So we're just going to say it's example 1. All right. Whoops. My bad. Sorry about that. All right, particle moves along a straight line. Its speed is inversely proportional to the square of the distance s it has traveled. Create an equation to model this. Okay, so hopefully enough time to copy that down. A particle moves along a straight line. You'll see these problems a lot in calculus, this idea of a particle moving along a line. Just the easiest way to express types of questions in calculus. It's not always doesn't always make perfect sense. It's just always a particle. Kind of annoying, I would say, but you see these problems a lot. In this case, it's a particle moving along a straight line. Its speed is inversely proportional to the square of the distance s it has traveled. All right, so let's just start there. For some reason, in this problem, s is distance. We don't see that too often, but s is going to be distance. So that's one part we got out of there. So we got distance s. Okay, so that part's taken care of. The other thing we have to do is its speed. So its speed is inversely proportional. So somehow we have to make this proportion. Well, speed, if we're given s is distance, to find speed, we take the derivative. The derivative of distance gives us speed or velocity, right? So we know that. So that means ds dt is equal to speed, or the derivative of s with respect to time. So next big word I want to look at is this idea of inversely. Inversely proportional. So if I have, let me just write it down here actually. Ks equals just proportional. Right, so my k is my constant of proportion. You don't have to write this down, but my constant of proportionality times my distance is proportional. Inversely proportional would be k times 1 over s, right, which we know is an inverse. Again, you don't have to write this down. I just want to show you. Ks is proportional. K times 1 over s is inversely proportional. So whenever you see that word inversely proportional, same idea, except you're just making a fraction. Okay, so instead of just multiplying it, you're going to divide. That's the big difference. All right, so using this information that we wrote up here, my derivative is going to be equal to my constant of proportionality, k, times it's inversely proportional to the square of distance. So instead of s squared, the square of distance would, or the inverse proportion would be 1 over s squared. So your final answer would be the speed, ds dt, equals constant proportionality times the inverse of s squared, which is 1 over s squared. All right, so that would be your final answer. So let me know, guys, in the chat if you have any questions. Brandon says, I think Khan has it as k divided by s squared. Yeah, so same thing. Exact same thing, Brandon. If I were to just multiply k times 1 over s squared, I would get k over s squared. So yeah, absolutely, no problem. All right, any other questions on that? Going once, going twice. All right, think we should be good then. All right, so here's the plan. So let me just talk. I guess I'll put my face up so I can talk for a second. Okay. So basically we had a meeting, a staff meeting yesterday. So the staff got together, and you guys might be hearing this from other teachers. You might be seeing kind of, I guess maybe some feedback from other people. But right now, I mean, the idea, right, was no one knew what to do, right, after this whole situation happened. So no one really still knows exactly what to do. I think everyone had different ideas, different intentions, and we had our meeting yesterday, and we kind of got together and just everyone kind of aired what's going on, what they feel, what kids are saying, all that good stuff. So with that being said, one of the big points that was being made was a lot of people, which I think including myself, was hoping that we could maybe just try to keep things normal. So continue with what we're doing, try to keep the same pace, keep working like how we've been working. It's come to my attention that maybe that's not realistic, especially with you guys. So a lot of you guys are AP kids, honors kids, do a lot of different things, a lot of different classes, a lot of work is expected out of you. So with the new, I guess the new announcement from AP that your test is going to be changed and everything's going to be a little bit different, and an entire chapter is being cut off, I don't feel as much pressure like flying through everything as I did, which it seems like is a consensus that maybe as a whole teachers might need to not like completely like not give you work, but maybe hold back a little bit on the work. All right, so with that being said, I think you guys, my expectation, I mean, you are AP kids, so I do have a high expectation. I do expect you to be working hard. And I don't think I've been doing a horrible job. I don't think I've been like, at least for the last week, I don't think I tortured you with, the amount of assignments I gave you. I don't think I asked too much out of you. I don't think personally, but regardless, more importantly is I just don't feel like I need to rush through things. So you might be seeing us take stuff a little bit slower. We might not be going for an hour every day. Maybe we'll just do like a quick topic, go over some examples, and I'll let you guys do an assignment so you don't have any like homework to do that day. I don't really know exactly what I'm going to do, but it just seems like there's a consensus from administration and from other teachers and everything that maybe we need to dial back a little bit. All right. At the end of the day, though, it's still my job to get you ready for this AP test. I know by April 3rd, I'll be getting more information. So I'll be able to like gauge better of what I should be doing by April 3rd. I just want to fill you guys in, be transparent, let you guys kind of know the situation, what's going on. But anyways, with that being said, more to relate more to what we're doing right now is this. I'm not going to get into, my calendar's a little off, so I'm going to have to change my calendar. So just make sure you guys go and check the updated calendar. After this stream, I'll go through and change it a little bit, but we're going to continue 10.1 tomorrow. And then Thursday we'll begin 10.3, and then Friday, I don't know. I'll figure out what I want to do. So I just kind of want to be up and honest with you guys up front, which means that these Khan Academy assignments, I'm going to push back even more. So sorry about that, but I saw most people didn't do them anyways or even attempt them, so that's okay. Like tonight's, this one that you guys did to be in the class is fine. You guys, that'll be due because now you should be fine with that. But the other one, I'll have to extend a day, just so you know. Just keep checking the calendar and be updated, I guess. Braden said your pace and homework is really well done. It is hard in other classes. Okay, thank you, Braden. I really do appreciate that feedback. That is kind of what I want to hear because I guess my goal is I really don't. This is weird for me too. I don't want to like torture you guys. I don't want you making your lives horrible. Basically, it's already hard enough that we all have to stay home and do nothing all day. Well, do school all day, but then have like nothing to do and be bored. I get that. That's hard enough, and it's hard enough on your brains and your mental. So your class is okay. Cool. I appreciate the feedback, guys. That's good. Regardless, though, I think even if I'm going to continue with this type of format, and I think it sounds like that's working for you guys, which is good, I'll keep the format. I do plan on at least maybe the notes, maybe we can take them a little bit slower because if I have more time than I originally thought, then I'm going to keep with it. You've seen the most. Okay, cool. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. That's good. Good to know that I'm getting feedback because I think just the way the meeting was worded, I think maybe at times I was like, oh, this might be directed towards me because I'm trying to kind of keep everything, the same pace we were on, doing the same stuff we were doing. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys are doing all right and we're not freaking out. But anyways, that's my little rant for today. I appreciate your guys' input. Thank you. Hopefully we can continue on and be prepared for this test. We got, it's not what I wanted. Okay, cool. So let's see what I want to do. I got 13 minutes, not too much time. All right, by the time I write all this, we're going to be running out of time. All right, so I want you guys to hey, no need to throw any names out there, Brayden. I want you guys to copy down with me as I go. So I'm gonna write this pretty quick. I'm gonna try to go as neat as possible. Here's a big word problem though. Not a difficult one, just a lot of words. So right as I go, we'll see if maybe we can get this problem done. All right, so a population of insects in a region will grow at a rate that is proportional to the current population. There is a net migration into the area of 15 insects. 16 are eaten by birds. Haha, bringing back the birds, baby. And 7 die of natural causes. 16 are eaten by planes that they run into. You guys feel free to change that to 16 are consumed by planes. I'd be okay with that. I support that. Initially, there are 100 insects. Create an equation. All right, so I took some liberties there with how I worded that, but a population of insects in a region will grow at a rate that is proportional to their current population. There is a net migration to the area of 15 insects, 16 are eaten by birds, and 7 die of natural causes. Initially, there are 100 insects. We want to create an equation that models this. So give me some, let me know when you're done writing. Type here. If you get done, after you're done typing, feel free to go ahead and see if you can get the answer to this. Thank you, Haber. Done, perfect. Okay. I think you guys are all probably then finishing up here. All right, let's get started. So, actually move this down a little bit so I can see the problem. Okay. A lot of words here. A lot of words, but it's not necessarily a extremely difficult problem. So we have a population of insects in a region. Will grow at a rate that is proportional to their current population. That's a really important thing to start. So what we need is 2 different things. Okay, number 1, we need the amount of insects coming into the population. All right, so if I comb through this problem and I read all this, I see that there's only really one way that animals are coming in. All right, and that's through net migration. So it says nothing about anything being born. All it says is that there is a net migration of 15. So I definitely need 15. 15 is going to be my population in, or the population that's coming into it. But I have this idea. So first of all, let's actually figure out my equation. Well, I know it's going to be dp dt. All right, so the rate of change of population over time. That's what I'm looking for to create the equation. Now the population going in. Well, this first sentence is kind of important. So I'm going to write in blue here. Population in. We know it's going to be something plus 15. Because that's going to be, that's how many insects migrated in. So something plus 15. But we want to represent, all right, a population in industries will grow at a rate that is proportional to the current population. Well, their current population is represented by P. So P would be their current population. If it is growing at a rate that's proportional, we call that Kp. So our constant of proportionality is K. So K times the current population plus 15. All right, so everything in the blue I underlined up there. So everything in the blue, that's all with the population in. Population out, oops, I want to use red. Population out is going to be death rate, which we're actually not given. They're not given anything about death rate. So they say the population in a region will grow. And then they say the next sentence, there is a net migration of the area, 15. 16 are eaten by birds. Okay, so definitely 16. 7 die of natural causes. So 16 plus the 7 that die of natural causes. And they say nothing else. So there's no other information about death rate. So there's no rate of death or rate of exiting or anything like that. So our population out is just this. 16 are eaten by birds. 7 die of natural causes. That's all we got for the population out. So my actual answer here, my rate of change of population, is my population in, which is K times P plus 15, minus my population out, which is 16 plus 7. Which ultimately leads to Kp minus 8. And that would be your final answer. That's an equation that models the situation. So you can see this one's a little different than the Khan Academy in the sense that it gives us like a multiple values that we have to decipher through. I guess the only really difficult part, I think, would be this part, is remembering that the constant of proportionality times the current population. Okay, then we'll call it a day for that. So type in the chat if you have any questions. If not, you are good to go. Like I said, I'm going to extend one of the Khan Academy assignments. I'll do that right now. So that one you don't have to worry about. Even though some people already did it. But we're going to talk about that more tomorrow. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day. As always, I'm going to be here from 1 to 2 for my office hour. If you guys have any questions and need any help, you let me know. Andrew, would it be K 100 since we're given the initial population? Okay, very good point. So Andrew, that's a good point, and actually something that I completely forgot about. So P is going to be our actual current population. So like what Andrew said, we would actually have dp dt is equal to k times 100 minus 8. Very good, Andrew. Thank you. So P is my current population anyways, and that's given to us. All right, calculus people. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Algebra 2, here we come. That's right, Jaden. Thank you, Josh. You have a good day. Thank you, Jonah. You too, sir. See you, Brandon. Thanks for joining. Morning, Jaden. Good to see you. Good to see you. Jaden, you want to do a round of Hangman? How you doing, Chris? All right, Jaden, I need a topic. Yes. Yes, sir. Jared, good to see you. All right. Ugh. Food. Morning. Food? Food. All right. Jared said no, we did that last week. All right, Jared, what would you suggest? Hey, Jaden, be nice. What other topics could we do? Things in the house. Okay. Household items is what we'll do. All right, let me think. Oh, I got one. All right, there it is. We're doing household items. That's your those are your options. So let me get some letters. Any letters you guys got, throw them my way. One at a time, though. One at a time. Let's go with O. All right. Let's see where I can put this. O. No O, Jared. No O. Ooh, rough start. No, it's not toilet paper. Good guess, though. Very good guess. Darian said A. Good. A lot of A's there. A lot of A's. Yeah, we got A. Don't worry, guys. We got A. Let's go with F. Jared, 0 for 2. No F. Savannah says C. Good guess. All right, there is a C. T. Sierra says T. No T. Heaven says S. No S. Ho, you guys are struggling. What else we got? An E. There we go. Vowels. Always go vowels. All right, there is an E. One E. This is a pretty good one. R. Ooh, good guess. There is an R. One R. Let's go with I. That's a good guess. H. Yep. Oh, good guess, Darian. Though there is an H. So you got the second word. It is chair. Think maybe people might be able to get it now. You know it's chair. Yeah, Jonah. Jonah's still here. Yeah, it's beanbag chair. Beanbag chair. Jonah Collins coming out of left field with that answer. The Calculus AB kid, Algebra 2, a Calc kid just came in here and showed you up in your game. I don't know how that makes you guys feel, but nice job, Jonah. I mean, Darren, you were like probably a second behind him, so Darren, you get the Algebra 2 win for that one. But Jonah, well done. Very impressive. Great stuff. All right. What an icebreaker we got for Algebra 2. Jaden, do you have a beanbag chair? No, I actually don't. I have a butterfly chair. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. And for whatever reason, I looked at it and I was like, chair. And I thought beanbag. That'd be good. Whatever, mister. Oh, man. Hey, Jared, where's your brother? Is Michael listening? You Michael Hall in the chat. Guy's slacking. I have a pretty big delay today, so I gotta be pretty patient with you guys. Okay, so I got you, Jared. Darn. Well, tell him he disappointed me. All right, so call him. All right. So, guys, first things first. Hello. Hope everyone's having a good day. Happy Tuesday. Make sure you guys hit the like just to make me feel better about myself, naturally. I want to talk about, before we get started with today's lesson, I want to talk about just something in general. All right, so we had a staff meeting yesterday, and I know you guys, I don't know how much you guys might have been, I guess, kind of or told about it maybe, or just knew anything or whatever, or if anyone else today has messaged you or something, but we did have a staff meeting yesterday, like all the staff got together, not in person, but like over camera. And we kind of just had a conversation, and it just had me thinking. So just the conversations we had, hearing other people's kind of feedback of how their classes are going, administration's kind of ideas and plans and all that good stuff. So just off all that, I've been reflecting a little bit on how we're handling things here. And I think, I think it's important I'm transparent and honest with you guys, kind of what I'm thinking to keep everyone in the loop. At least, the people who are watching and who are in the streams, because I think that's going to be important to keep you guys in the loop with what my brain is thinking. So originally the plan, and I told you guys this right away, was I wanted to make sure that nothing was being changed too much. I wanted to make you feel comfortable, keep everything consistent. So keep the consistency of our class. And I think from what I can tell, like in class, I think you guys like the way that things are formatted. So I wanted to try my best to replicate that over stream, even though it's nearly impossible. So that was the plan, last week. And I got my feedback from you guys in the survey, and it was actually very positive. So that makes me, feel good about what's been going on. One thing that was brought up a lot was workload. Okay, and when I say workload, it means basically, it's hard because teachers aren't communicating with one another very often because it's difficult to. But, you guys might have one test in this class while I stream in this class, while I Zoom in this class, all at once. And you go through and you do those lectures, and then they give you a ton of assignments that you have to do. So you're up all night, doing assignments and blah, blah, blah. Okay, and that's not the intention. The intention is that this is going to, like, at least from my understanding, my intention is I want to try to replicate like a normal school day as possible. And that's kind of how I've designed my schedule to do. I have my lesson, and you do some work in my lesson, and then, I'll give you a homework assignment that might be due that night, maybe later, but it's usually not an assignment that's going to take you hours. So hearing this feedback, I guess the recommendation was basically maybe instead of trying to replicate how your course was when you're in person, maybe take things a little bit slower, slow the pace down a little bit, and maybe think about how you can make sure everyone is involved in doing quality work. I think it was kind of the summation. Hey, Michael joined. All right. So with that all being said, I kind of already got your feedback, but maybe if you guys want to go ahead and comment in the chat, even if you don't feel comfortable, maybe because we can all see who comments, maybe if you don't feel comfortable voicing it here, if you want to message me, maybe let me know like how you think workload has been for you. I guess that's kind of my main concern. Do you feel like math is taking over way too much of your time? Do you feel like I'm not doing a good enough job preparing you for assignments I'm giving you, and I'm just kind of letting you throw you to the wolves and saying, if you figure it out? Do you guys feel like it's good? Like, are you happy with how things are going? So maybe just sound off right now. Let me know what you think with that. If you want it, again, if you want it to be private or something, you can always email me. I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys first before I just start making any sort of drastic changes or anything along those lines. One thing though, kind of on top of that, so you guys can be typing away and just kind of hear me while you're typing, is grading wise, I'm going to plan on grading is going to be a little bit lessened. So like last week I wanted to practice this Google Classroom and like have you guys upload assignments. I don't know, I'm not going to be doing that like a ton. I'm not going to do that for every single assignment. All right, that's obnoxious. So just I think maybe with the homework stuff, grading homework is going to be a little less, which stinks because then I don't know if you're doing it. But in the same sense, like, you know, you guys got a lot, things are crazy. You guys got a lot going on in your lives, a lot of, you know, other things other than math in your world to deal with, and I get that. So, you know, just expect for that. If you guys see me and I don't post an assignment to Google Classroom, then the expectation is you're not turning it in. All right, so you don't need to email me and say, "Hey, Mr. Harris, I'm gonna turn this assignment in." If I don't post it anywhere, then the expectation is no, you don't. Alex, obviously, you're always going to do Alex. That's always due in the Alex program, so no different there. But some other stuff, book pages, study guides, that kind of stuff, it'll be, you know, at my discretion. All right. So just so you guys know. Okay, Savannah, I feel like it is pretty good. Your homework. Okay, that's kind of my consensus too. Jaden said you are doing fine. Just other classes are a little time consuming. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought as well. I thought from my perspective, it seems like you know, it's different because I'm a teacher, so obviously homework for me is gonna be quick because I know, you know, obviously all the content and everything. So when I look at it, sometimes I'll be like, oh yeah, it's really easy, and then I'll find out, oh, maybe it takes longer than I thought. So it's very time consuming. Your class. Okay, your class is not taking too much time. I just need to do my work at the right time. I've been slammed with a lot of homework, but I get it done. This is probably the easiest class. The work goes even. It takes very little time. It's just other classes that are okay. Yeah, Darren, that's kind of what I really wanted to touch on and kind of like talk to you guys about. Is that's what I'm a little bit worried about. The nice thing in what you guys are saying, and that's kind of what my opinion was too, is my work isn't going to take you very long. So even though like you might have, you know, math to science to history to whatever, yeah, I don't think my assignments are crazy long or crazy difficult. Also, I feel like I give you enough opportunities so you can get answered really quickly or questions answered really quickly. With my office hour being live, you guys can just come in real quick, say, Mr. Harris, number 7, go. I can do it. You'll be like, all right, good. You know, and then also just during class, a lot of times we have time, so. Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you, guys. That's all I wanted, and I hopefully you're being honest with me because that's what I'm looking for. That's what I want. I just want to make sure that I wasn't killing you guys with this class because I do have everything. I have something every day, and I realize that. But my intention was that every day I do have something. So you're doing a little bit of math every day, but it's not math that's gonna like make you go insane and like work 7 hours a day off, right? And that's the game plan. So cool. Just wanted to get your feedback. As always, if you guys have any more questions on that or have anything you want to reference, please feel free to email me. One thing I wanted to say was that quiz I assigned for Friday. I got a lot of replies on that, a lot of submissions, which I'm very happy about. I haven't decided yet how I want to grade it. I've been thinking a little bit. I know I told you guys for accuracy, and I might still do that. I'm not sure, but I wanted to make sure you guys were just taking it seriously and putting effort into it. What I'm going to do with it is maybe I'll just grade like certain problems, and then that'll be your grade. But regardless, if you guys did it, I want to give you credit. So even if you got some answers wrong, you're not going to lose a ton of points on it. All right, so I'm going to reward you for putting in the effort and doing that work. So I really do appreciate that. I also really appreciate, I don't know if anyone's in here who did this, but all those you guys who had communication with me, emailing me about or making comments in Google Classroom like, hey, Mr. Harris, number 4 was wrong the first time. I fixed it, uploaded the second time. Hopefully it's good. You know, stuff like that I really appreciate. One thing I will say is I can't answer you after 9 o'clock. So you guys might know this, but I can't answer an email after 9 o'clock. So if you have a question, and because if you're postponing your assignment, not doing it till like midnight, you know, there's nothing I can do about it because I'm not allowed to answer you. So I don't feel like I'm just like being mean and disrespecting you or like just don't want to help you. That's not it. I'm just legally not allowed to answer you after 9 o'clock. So it's really important. I know this is asking a lot, and I know it's very difficult, but try your best to get at least started on an assignment and at least look at an assignment before 9 o'clock. So when you email me, I can answer real quick and get back to you. Because if you don't start an assignment till 10 and it's due at midnight, then you're on your own. There's nothing I can do to help you. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, thank you for all the submissions. Appreciate it. Okay, a lot of talking. My mouth is dry. Get a drink. All right, stretch, and let's get started with today's lesson. This new log stuff is so easy. Oh, good, Billy. Happy to hear. Yeah, I kind of like the properties log. These are pretty important for a lot of you guys that are moving on to pre-calculus. This stuff is going to be really useful to you. And then, some of you guys might move to calculus after that. So a lot of this is going to be relevant to you for a while. So coffee or water? Water today. I didn't make coffee. So yesterday I didn't say this, but yesterday I made coffee, but I forgot to put the pot underneath the coffee maker, and my my coffee went everywhere, and I had to stream, so I was like, oh, this is no good. And so I went up and streamed for like the 3-hour interval, and then I went back down, and the coffee was all like, some of it was dried up and gross, and I spent like 30 minutes cleaning it all up, and my filter was all gross, and it wasn't pretty. So I decided not to make coffee today, out of pure just anger at what happened yesterday. Michael, I played Star Wars Battlefront. Jeez. Well, thank you for being here, Michael. I had made sure Jared bugged you so I could see you. Make sure you were involved. Okay, very good. So, guys, I want you to go in your books to page 486. Yeah, Jared, it was rough. Very, very rough. It was really a rookie mistake. Like, it's something that like I should have not done. As an adult, you shouldn't make those kind of mistakes, but it happens. Okay, so page 486 is what I want you guys. The worst part about this is this all has no SNN. Yeah, Chris. Unfortunately, no SNN. I think that people could still make. I think SNN could still happen. I don't think it'd be easy, but I think it'd be interesting. I don't know what they would talk about. They'd have to like not do Sailor News. It would have to be like other news, but I think it'd be really entertaining if they did. But that's not me who figures that out. Darren, that's happened at Panera before. Yeah, it's stupid that it's not weight sensitive. So like my pot being on the platform doesn't just like say like, hey, there's something here. The coffee can pour now. Instead, it just pours most of the coffee and then realizes like later on like, oh, maybe I should stop pouring coffee. So stupid. Oh, Jared, that's disgusting. Oh, moldy coffee. Gross. All right. Oh. Okay, guys. So, page 486. Again, 486. You guys can see it on my screen. Or you should be able to see it on my screen. Yep, you should. That's going to be the problem we're on. Very top of the page. So go ahead and turn there. And here's what we are going to be talking about today. So a couple more property, well, one more property for now, and then solving a logarithmic equation with these properties. So you guys can see at the top of the page, it says, recall that the power of a power is found by multiplying exponents. The property for the logarithm of the power is similar. All right, this is a super important property. And this is a property that's going to be very important when we're solving logarithms. Okay, so here's the words. The logarithm of a power is the logarithm of a power is the product of the logarithm and the exponent. So they kind of show this in symbols. Log base b of m raised to the p is equal to p log base b of m. Okay, so all we're saying is that we know that logarithms and exponentials are inverses. Am I on 487? Oh. Thank you, Jaden. Thank you. All right. Let me rewind a little bit. I forgot. I was going to say, I was wondering if the quotient rule was going to come later. So let me rewind a little bit. We'll get to that one later. So before we can get to the product power rule, which is very important, I didn't lie. We're going to go back to the top of 486. So recall that the quotient of powers is found by subtracting exponents. The property for the logarithm of a quotient is similar. Let b to the x equal a and b to the y equal c. Okay, so they do this proof. I went over a proof yesterday. It's the exact same idea, except with division. So the ultimate property, what we want, is the quotient property of logarithms. So let me get my paper set up. This is going to be still 7.5. Continue. This is 3/24/20. It's the date. Okay, and so yesterday we were talking about the product property. Today we're talking about the quotient property. The quotient property of logarithms. So if you guys want to, real quick, copy down that key concept. So you can see on my screen this key concept right here. I want you guys to copy down. You don't have to do the words. You don't even have to necessarily do the symbols. At the very least, do an example. So maybe like this bottom symbols and then an example would probably be the best things to do. Is what my recommendation would be. So whatever you guys, like I always say, these are your notes. So whatever notes are going to make most sense to you, that's how I want you to write it. Basically what we're saying though is yesterday we were talking about if we have log base x of a times b. So we have multiplication inside the log. You can separate them with the same base and add them. Okay, but today we're saying for the quotient property of logarithms, we have a division within the logarithm. So we're going to subtract those logs. So division is equal to subtraction. Multiplication is equal to addition. That's the mindset we want to have with logs. All right. And it's the exact same thing with exponentials, right? Division is subtraction. Multiplication is addition. If you're multiplying with the same base, you add their exponents. If you divide with the same base, you subtract their exponents. So nothing, the only difference now is we're dealing with logarithms. Come on, Chris, please follow directions. Also, Chris, is that like a duck? Is your profile picture? I like that guy. Like a cool duck. I need to get a duck as my profile picture. Thank you, Darren. Darren followed directions. Chris, come on. It is a duck. Anytime I see a duck, I think of the duck song. I'm not going to sing it because it'll be stuck in your head the rest of the day. But, you know, duck waddled up to a lemonade stand, all that good stuff. Great song. And maybe that was what inspired your duck profile, Chris. Thank you, Evan. Okay, making progress. Should have a couple more people giving me some thumbs up. All right, perfect. Good, good, good. Looks like we are ready to go. Okay. So again, guys, this is very, very similar. Very similar to exponentials. Only difference is now we have logarithms. So if you have a logarithm inside the function is division, you can rewrite it so it's being subtracted. So let's see an example, and we're going to do a real world example. So at the bottom of 486, I have it up on my screen. I think I have it up on my screen. I do. I have it up on my screen right now so you guys can see it. It says the pH of a substance is defined as the concentration of hydrogen ions, H+, in moles. It is given by the formula pH equals log base 10 of 1 over H+. Find the amount of hydrogen in a liter of acid rain that has a pH of 4.2. Interesting. All right. Acid rain. I've never seen acid rain. I've heard about it, but it's kind of crazy what happens. I don't know. I think maybe pollution causes it. That'd be my guess. Some sort of pollution contaminates the water that gets evaporated from a water source, I'm assuming, and then that water source that evaporates is already acidic, and so when it like goes through that transpiration process and everything and falls to the ground, I'm assuming it just keeps all those chemicals in it, makes it acidic. I'm guessing. It's my prediction. I'm probably completely wrong, but yeah, acid rain's kind of an interesting idea. And so this is going to be a formula that talks about the pH of a substance. Okay, so we're given this fact. So let me go down to my my paper now. So we're given this formula where pH is equal to log base 10 of 1 over H+. All right, so that's given to us. That plus should be in the exponent, by the way. That H plus is just a variable. I just accidentally put it down there, so I'll fix that later. But that's the formula that's given to us. Now we have a couple. So the plan is to find the amount of hydrogen in a liter of acid rain that has the pH of 4.2. So we're given this information. 4.2 is pH. So I can replace pH with 4.2. I still have my log base 10, and it's still 1 over H plus. All right, so this is the equation I'm left with now. I want to find the amount of hydrogen. So I'm looking for H plus, right? H plus represents hydrogen. That's what I'm looking for. So I know what my pH is, 4.2. I'm looking for H plus. So I have to solve this equation. Now, right off the bat, I doubt that we can look at that and say we know the answer. Okay, no one can. So we do have to do algebra. And we should be thinking, okay, what could we do? Very, 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 very important thing to understand, okay? So I want you guys to pay close attention to this. With logarithms, because I know people are going to want to try to do this, I can't just divide by log base 10. That's not anything. That's not a number. Log base 10 isn't a number. So I can't just say, okay, I'm going to divide each side by log base 10, and I'm going to be left with 4.2 divided by log base 10 equals 1 over H plus. It doesn't work like that. All right, you need something inside the logarithm. The base just saying, okay, this is going to be like our base, like an exponential base. It's going to be the base of our logarithm. All right, but the actual inside of logarithm's a number that's super important. So we can't just divide there. We can't multiply by an h plus, because really what we have here is it's log base 10 of 1 over h plus. So I can't just multiply out of a logarithm. Okay, that 1 over h plus is connected to the logarithm. It's in there. It's stuck in there. Okay, so those might be two ideas. So your next and your only option here is to rewrite. I want to use my log properties to rewrite, and I'm going to use the quotient property. So the 4.2 stays the same. Instead of writing log base 10 of 1 divided by h plus, I can write log base 10 of 1 minus log base 10 of h plus. So that's using that quotient property you guys just copied down. Splitting up the fraction so it's two separate log bases or log expressions, and you have a subtraction in between. Okay, so why do I want to do this? Well, the nice thing about doing this is this. Log base 10 of 1, if I put that in my calculator. So let me do that real quick. Okay. So if you guys look at my screen, log base 1 is equal to 0, log base 10 of 1. So we haven't talked about this yet, but we're going to talk about it next unit. The general base, it's called a general base of log is always 10. So this is log base 10, it just doesn't show the 10. So all this is saying is log base 10 of 1, and it equals 0, which is really good for us. All right, because now we can get rid of this entire term. That turns into 0, and I'm just left with negative log base 10 of h plus. Oh, what a catch. I just spilled my water in case anyone was wondering. Okay. So this is where we're at. Now we just want to solve for h plus. First things first, I'm going to divide by negative 1. So I'm going to get negative 4.2 equals log base 10 of h plus. So that's just dividing by negative 1. All right, now from here, I would say, hey guys, what do you think we should do? But this is an example that's in your book, so it's given to you. So the idea here is now how do we solve? Well, the nice thing is now I have just log base 10 of just some variable h plus. So this throws us back to the beginning of the unit where we said, all right, well, we can rewrite this log as an exponential. So I take my base and make it my base of my exponential. So 10 becomes the base over on the left side. Raise it to the power of negative 4.2. And that's going to be equal to whatever was inside the log. So that's equal to h plus. So this ends up being your final answer. Okay, and they show you in the book what that translates to. You guys can just put in your calculator. You can get an answer. Not too worried about your ability to use Desmos. And it ends up being about 0.000063. You can always check your work. So you guys can see in the book they check their work. They plug back in 10 to the negative 4.2 in for h plus, and they find out that it is in fact true. Okay. So any questions you guys have, put them in the chat now. I will address those. If you are good, just let me know. Just say good or, thumbs up, whatever you want to do, so I know I can move on. All good, good. Okay, very good. All right, so we're just manipulating logs. Cool. I'm not going to do the guided practice because I do want to get to the next page. So guided practice, if you guys want some extra practice, feel free to do that. I'll go over it with you if you need help. But we're going to move on to 487. So go ahead and guys scroll over to 487. And now we're back to what I started the class with. Okay. So guys, this is going to be the power property of logarithms. So you guys can title your notes power property of logs. And I already talked about this kind of at the beginning of the class, but this is going to be a really important idea, this power property, and it's something you're going to use for a while. So same exact thing I want to do as we did before. Go ahead and copy down that key concept. The idea is that if we have something where it's a log base of a value, and then inside of the log you have an exponential, you can take the exponent out in front of the log, okay, and rewrite it. So go ahead and just let me know when you guys are finished with that. Go ahead and comment below what comment I just made. Hope everyone's doing all right in life, not just in this problem, but just in life. Think don't see any, I don't really see something happening anytime soon where we're going to be back in like. I know we're supposed to only be gone for 3 weeks, but I'm a little doubtful that. I don't know. Maybe I'm being pessimistic, but it just doesn't seem like this is going to get good anytime soon. Which stinks, but I think eventually this will kind of we'll get more used to this. It just, I don't know about you guys, but it drives me a little nuts being at home all the time and not being able to go outside and be around other people and just like be at school and just in a good atmosphere, you know? I'm trying to be optimistic, Darren. I really am. See, the one thing about being optimistic is when you're optimistic and it like ends up not working out for you, it hurts way worse. So if I have this kind of attitude now, and I wouldn't say I'm being pessimistic. I'm just saying I'm being cautious. With a cautious attitude now, I think it will hurt less if it happens to be like a long-term thing where we're not in school. Because then at that point I'll already be mentally preparing for it, you know? That's kind of my mindset. So, I don't know. Weird. You guys we're all living in history right now. Historic. Thank you, Jared. Hey, you know what, Jared? You're right. This is a safe space. All right, so this is a safe space zone, Jaden. Please no anger. We are only going to be positive or cautious, as I said. I'm very cautious, so let's keep the aggressive behavior at a minimum. Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. Thank you for reiterating that fact. I have the power to mute people, so please don't make me use that power. I don't want to. But if we make this a non-safe space, or a SAF space, as some people might refer to, you know, don't make me do it. If the Hall brothers start getting in an argument, I'm going to have to do something. Okay, so, guys, what I want to do is, example 3 is good. You guys can take a look at that, maybe process how they did it. But what I want to do is I want to scroll down to that, like, big number 2 at the bottom of 487, where it says solve logarithmic equations. Let me see where my camera's at, because I don't know. Oh, okay. I thought it was on me the whole time. All right. So I want you guys to be here. Solve logarithmic equations. You can use the properties of logarithms to solve equations. This is the good stuff here. This is the stuff Mr. Harris lives for. Okay, number 4. That's the one I want to work on. So go ahead, guys, write this down. So it's log base 6 of x plus log base 6 of x minus 9 equals dose. All right, let's see what to do. Okay, so the question says to solve this equation. So I'm thinking, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking. All right, I'm solving, meaning I'm looking for x. That's step 1. Got to figure out x. Step 2, can I divide anything? Nope. I can't factor anything out. I mean, what is there to do? And the only thing I can think of is use my logarithmic properties. And hopefully that's what you think too. Okay, and the big key, a really big hint to you guys on what to do is you see they have the same base, 6 and 6. Whenever you have a log that has the same base, you always want to think about properties you can use to simplify it. Okay, and the best property, the only property I guess really for now I can use, is the fact that they're being added together. So x, log base 6x plus log base 6 of x minus 9. We can rewrite that as log base 6 of x times x minus 9. This is our product property. So using our product property, instead of addition, we can combine it into one like base, so one log base 6, because they both have that in common. And then on the inside of that log, have a product of those two values. All right, so that's step 1. That's the hardest step to recognize, is rewriting instead of plus, rewriting as a product of one single log. Now from here, I want to use my exponential, or my definition, I guess, of my logarithm. So I want to change this into an exponential equation. Remember, exponential equation, you take the base, so my base was 6, move it to the other side, raise what was on the other side into the exponent, and then whatever's on inside the log stays there. All right, so we got x times x minus 9 equals 6 squared. Whenever you can get rid of logs, you get rid of them. Okay, if it's possible, get rid of them. And now this becomes a basic, I guess a basic equation to solve. So I get x squared minus 9x equals 36. So we have x squared minus 9x equals 36. This is a quadratic equation. We have an x squared quadratic equation, meaning that we want to solve a quadratic equation like so. Subtract the 36 to the other side, so I have a quadratic equation equal to 0. Some of you guys might be able to factor this in your heads. I'm going to use my trusty old Xbox. A times C is negative 36. B is negative 9. What multiplies negative 36 and adds to negative 9? If I'm not mistaken, it is negative 12 and positive 3. All right, and since my A value of my original quadratic, you guys can see my A value is 1, I can use a shortcut. So my factored form is x minus your first number you found, so x minus 12, times x plus 3 equal to 0. So x equals 12, and x equals negative 3. So, am I done? Am I correct? Well, the answer is, I don't know yet. You guys got to remember that logarithms are a little funky because there are situations where we have extraneous solutions. Yeah, so Jared, very good. So I have to plug in values because I don't know if both of these are going to work. These are potentially going to work, but if they make them extraneous solutions, that's not a solution I don't want to work with. So I have to plug them in. So I need to find, move down, log base 6 of 12 plus log base 6 of 12 minus 9, and see if that's true. I'm not going to do the work. You guys have calculators. You guys can just plug them into your calculators. But the book has all the work for it, and you do end up getting 2 equals 2. So yes, definitely x equals 12 is an answer I have. The second one I want to try is at x equals negative 3. So log base 6 of negative 3 plus log base 6 of negative 3 minus 9. That's got to be equal to positive 2. So plugging in negative 3. Right off the bat, guys, log base 6 of negative 3. That's called extraneous. It's undefined there. So if you have a negative inside the logarithm, we cannot solve that. And you guys can put in your calculator and you'll see the answer. It'll give you undefined. So, that kind of gives you the answer for it. But it's good to know. If you don't have a calculator and you can't actually find the value, you can just know, well, I can't have a negative inside my log. So this is undefined. So x equals negative 3 gives me an extraneous solution, not an actual solution. So my only answer then is x equals 12. That is the only answer to that problem. Any questions on that, guys? Okay, so I'm not seeing any questions going on in the chat right now. So I'm assuming either it's on a crazy delay or you guys are good. So what I want to do is, we're running out of time a little bit, so I got 7 more minutes, but I do want to do guided practice 4A. So I'm going to write the question down. I want you guys to write this down as well. This is going to be a really good problem. It's got a lot of different properties we can use here. All right, so this is the problem you're given. What I want to do, my goal, okay, I'm solving this. I'm solving that equation for x. I notice that every single one of these has log base 7. My goal is I want to get log base 7 on either side of the equation, but only one of them. So 1 log base 7, because that way I can just set whatever's on the inside of log equal to one another. So let's use my properties to rewrite both sides. So let's start on this side. So think to yourselves real quick, okay, what property would I use? What property would I use to rewrite 2 log base 7 of x? And if you thought to yourself power property, you're correct. Okay, I want to rewrite this, so instead of 2 log base 7 of x, I have log base 7 of x squared. So we're reversing it. Instead of having the 2 out in front, let's put the 2 back into the log, into the exponent. So again, where did I get that from? How do I do that? That's our definition of the power property that you guys wrote a second ago. Okay, now the other side, I have a plus. I have same log bases, but I have a plus. Hopefully, we're going to start recognizing that whenever you see that same log bases with a plus in between, you can rewrite it as one single log base and a property or a product. So 27 times 3. Log base 7 of 27 times 3 is the same thing as log base 7 of 27 plus log base 7 of 3. All right, now we're in pretty good shape, because now this is what we have. We have log base 7, log base 7. The only way this can be true, this statement right here can be true, is if the insides of those log base 7s are equal. So x squared has to be equal to 27 times 3, which is 81. So x squared equals 81, x equals 9. So my question for you guys, is why do I know the answer is just 9? Because right when I take the square root of 81, isn't it plus or minus 9? Why do I know that the answer is only positive 9, not negative 9? That's my question for you guys. So in the chat, let me know. How do I know that the answer is only positive 9 and not negative 9? No. Okay, I don't know what happened. Are we still good? Can you guys still hear me? I accidentally backed out of the screen, and I was terrified I might have lost the stream. Okay. All right, did you guys get my question? So I'll type it out just in case. Whoa, caps. Why is it 9 and not negative 9? That's my question. Why is the answer 9, not negative 9? Because when I take the square root of 81, that's definitely plus or minus 9. But my answer is only positive 9. Thank you, Jared. I do appreciate that. I have no clue. That's fine. All right. So the idea isn't, I'm not seeing any comments, so I'm assuming people are either figuring it out or thinking about it or don't care, regardless of what it is. The reason why it's positive 9 is because it is true that x squared, yeah, okay, so Sarah, there you go. It doesn't work, you can solve it. Yeah, exactly. So you could see that. Specifically, it doesn't work because of this. X squared, the square root of 81 is plus or minus 9. If I plug in positive 9 back into the original, nothing there becomes an issue. So nothing up here ends up being negative. So they're all good solutions. So 9 definitely works. If I plug in negative 9, so Jared, I just saw your comment. It's not because there's a negative out in front of the log. It's because there's a negative inside of the log. So if I plugged a negative 9 up here into 2 log base 7 of negative 9, that's going to be an extraneous solution. Negative 9 is not in my domain. So x can't be negative 9. All right, it's undefined. Okay, so a lot of times you guys will see negative values aren't going to be answers. Not all the time. Don't say it. Don't assume that's all the time. But a lot of the time, it's not going to be an answer. Okay, and so like Sarah DeGidio said, perfect point. You can solve it. Check your work and see what happens. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for attending today. Let me go to my face so I'm not talking to a piece of paper. Thank you for attending today. I appreciate your guys' inputs. I appreciate your effort. Alex's assignment is due. I think it's due tomorrow. I believe I made it due. So we're going to go over any questions you guys have tomorrow. We'll spend probably the majority of the stream might be spent on Alex if you guys have a lot of questions on it. If it's easy for you, you don't have very many questions, then we won't spend much time on it. But I would like to spend a lot of time, make sure you guys are really comfortable with the Alex assignment. So please try that tonight. Don't wait till last minute. Try that tonight. Work on it. Write down any questions you have. Get through what you can get through, and then I'll go over it. Thank you, Jared. I'll remember that. All right, so you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I will be back on at 1. Any questions you guys got on Alex, you can come in at 1 too and work on it. Heaven, I'm not positive yet. I'm going to check. Jaden, I think it's 12 questions. So I'm going to open it up right now because I can't remember when I assigned it to be due. It's due at 3:30 tomorrow, guys. 3:30 tomorrow. You too, Heaven. You guys have a great rest of your day. Feel free if you want to work on the Alex, come in at 1 during my office hours. You guys can work on it. I'll answer questions you have. Peace.